Hello, Ken Follett. I'm Anna Yorga. It's very nice to have you on this interview. Thank you for accepting this meeting with us.
My pleasure.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I have not got the virus. I have survived a year, and nobody in my family has got it. So
Oh God,
we've been lucky.
Yeah, this is good news. What are you working at right now?
Right now, I'm reading the proofs of my next book, Never, which is coming out in November. It's the last thing we have to do. After it comes back from the printer, I have to read it one more time to see if there are any mistakes in printing. And to tell you the truth, it's not my favorite job. On the other hand, I'm finding the book quite exciting.
And I know that you take time to correct and for editing also your draft, and you also give specialists your draft to read it again and to have their opinion, even in this latest moment before you publish it. It's important for you, isn't it?
I think it's important to get the details right. If people find, when we're reading, if we find a mistake in the book says something that we know can't be true, then we notice it, don't we? And we stop and we think that's wrong. The author made a mistake. And if the reader's thinking like that, the reader's not lost in the story. We say the reader has popped out of the story.
Yeah, it's a fact,
and that's
there.
That's a terrible thing, because I go to all this trouble to make sure that once you've started reading, you never want to stop.
Yeah.
And if there's a mistake, you stop. So that's one of the reasons why it's important. I also think readers like to believe that the history in the novel is accurate. They feel then that they're, as well as enjoying it, which is the main thing, they feel they're learning something.
It's important that, and it will be my question, and at a certain moment, this part with history and fiction and all the disconnection between the two of them. But because you already started to speak about Never, I want to start our discussion with Never, your latest novel that will appear in November, and we can't wait to see it and to read it. You say that when I started writing Never, I didn't know how it would end, and you won't know until the very last page. This is thrilling. So how it all started, what inspired you?
It was my study of the outbreak of the First World War that inspired me, because I studied that for a novel called Fall of Giants, and what struck me about it was that there weren't really any bad guys. You know, the whole of Europe was involved in this war, but none of the European countries wished to have this war. They all the presidents and prime ministers made decisions which led to war, but they didn't intend it. And they were small steps. And so that made me think, well, could that happen again? And could it happen now? And I tried to imagine a scenario in which modern leaders, European and North American and Far Eastern and Russian leaders, would all make decisions leading to a war that they did not want. And I came to the conclusion that, yes, it's very possible, and that's what the book is about.
Which are the
but maybe
today?
Maybe they'll stop it before the very end. You have to read the book.
Yeah, this is what your characters are trying to avoid, a terrible world conflict. But in your opinion, and in this novel, what are the flashpoints of today that could generate another similar terrible conflict that we had in 1914, for example? So which could lead to this nowadays?
Well, there are a lot. And I'm not going to tell you which one I've used in the book, because that would spoil the story. But for example, Taiwan. it's the biggest flashpoint at the moment. The Chinese government thinks that Taiwan belongs to China. The Taiwanese people think that Taiwan belongs to them. And both sides are very heavily armed. The Chinese are very determined and very powerful. The Taiwanese have the support of the United States, we think, although we're not really sure. And that's something that could easily explode. Then there is the border with India, the border between China and India, where at the moment they have soldiers shooting at one another and again. They're arguing about which bit belongs to China, which bit belongs to India. None of this land is very valuable, by the way. But it's the kind of thing where somebody could start shooting and there could be a really serious war.
Enough reason to start a worldwide conflict, you say, actually.
Well, no, but the point is, what happens sometimes in these circumstances is a gradual escalation. So somebody does something mild. Now, if the Indians shot one Chinese soldier, China would not bomb India, but they would do something else. They might shoot 10 Indian soldiers, and then the Indians might bomb one Chinese city. And then the Chinese might bomb 10 Indian cities. That's the way these things escalate. And it happens terrifyingly easily. And that's the drama in Never, is the way these small steps just keep leading towards what everybody dreads and nobody wants. There's a Russian point, a flashpoint involving Russia would be the Ukraine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now. And you can imagine how, okay, the Russians have forced down a British plane. Well, now, the British are very mad about this, very angry about this. Will we do anything? I don't know. But if we did something to retaliate against the Russians might do something to us, and we might be on that slope again. So there's no shortage of flashpoints. The only question is, when these crises happen, how do we deal with it? Do we manage to keep the temperature down, or does it boil up and explode?
How did you choose your characters in order to solve this type of conflict?
Well, there have to be two things. First of all, there have to be several people who are in a position to change the course of events. So they have to have some power. They may have power because one of the characters, for example, is the President of the United States.
A woman.
And there's a character who has the power to change events. Another very important character is a Chinese spy master. So he's in charge of the Chinese intelligence, overseas foreign intelligence service. So he's a very powerful person, and also he knows everything because of his job. All the information, whether it's secret or not, comes onto his desk. So they have to be in a position to change things. But the other thing is their character. They have to be the kind of people who do change things. So they have to be brave and intelligent and resourceful. And you see, you can't write a story about people who are timid and cautious and fearful, because they never get into trouble. So there's no story.
Right. If there's no.
So my characters, they have to be a little bit bold and do brave things and dangerous things.
For this novel, as well as for others, you actually spoke with this type of person that are really involved in these positions, important positions.
Oh, yes.
You make a great research for your for every novel. You're like a historian, like a journalist, a little bit of them both. When do you stop? How deep you go? When do you stop and you start writing?
Well, it doesn't really stop until the book's finished, because although I do a lot of research in the first year, when I'm planning the story, I do a lot of research then. But even when I'm writing, something happens and I need to find out. For example, a typical thing that I would have to do would be to find out what is the building like in Beijing where the Chinese president has his office. Because, you know, I might not know, and when I'm writing, I might realize, oh, I've got to have a scene in the president's office. Okay, then what is the office like? I have to say where it is, what the building looks like, and what kind of desk is he sitting at. And of course, sometimes
it happened to you to put a pause and to travel that place in order to see the building or to get inspiration for that office that you need in that moment to describe and to be very, very real in your novel?
Well, normally I would try to go and visit the place. Of course, this book has been written while we've had the virus, and so I haven't gone anywhere. However, there are, first of all, I use maps. Mm-hmm. I use the internet a lot, and there's something called Google Earth, mm-hmm. which is a way to get a satellite picture. And for this book, for Never, I used Google Earth a lot.
Because have Google Street just to visit all the...
Yes, that's right. All that stuff is very good. Then sometimes there is stuff that you just can't find out, because some of this stuff is secret, of course. So, for example, I do know where the Chinese Secret Service have their headquarters. In Beijing, I know the address, and I've looked at satellite pictures of the compound. But when it comes to the inside, I have to be a bit vague, because there aren't any pictures of the inside. Oh. The China, of course, like all secret police, they keep these things secret. They don't tell you. Oh, the boss is on the 7th floor, because they think you might want to, you know.
Of course.
So there are some things that you can't find out, but a lot of stuff you can find out enough to create an atmosphere for a place. And so, yes, in that case, if I was in the middle of the story and I realized that I had to give a very good description of a place that I had never been to, I would go there if I could. I would probably write a description based on internet information, and then after I finish the first draft of the book, I often go on a trip, and I go and look at a lot of places over a period of 2 or 3 weeks and photograph them and make notes, so that when I do the rewrite of the book, then I can put in all the authentic details that I've discovered.
Maybe my last question. I know that
okay.
On 5th of June is your birthday, and I want to ask you, what do you wish for this year for your birthday, for you and for your family?
Oh, well, the main thing is about my family is that I want to see them. Actually, on my birthday this year, I will be able to see some of them, the ones who still live in England, I will be able to see, and they're coming here to this house for lunch. My birthday is a Saturday. The 5th of June is a Saturday. So they will come here and we'll have lunch and wine and just talk. I have 3 daughters and 6 grandchildren, all living in California.
Wow.
And of course, I haven't seen them for a long, long time. And some of the, 4 of my grandchildren are like 11, 12, 13 years old. So they're changing so fast now. And I've missed all this for the last year, more than a year now. I haven't been able to see them. But I'm hoping that before the end of this year, I will be able to fly to California and see them.
Thank you very much. And I think it's a privilege that you have such a beautiful family and big family. And now you are going to be able to be together for your birthday. And I think this is marvelous. Thank you for this interview. It was a great pleasure for us. And in the end, I want to tell you, you have a great library and I love it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.